broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey.
What?
Hey guys, what is up? My name is Jon Manganello, and this is the AFTERBUZZ After Show for Season 2, Episode 5 of American Crime. We have a beautiful panel here with us today.
Sausage party.
A newbie. A newbie.
Yes.
We're going to introduce ourselves. Unfortunately, Erica J is not with us today, but she will be back next week. You guys want to say hey and tell them where to find you?
Hi guys, I'm Erica Renee Davis. We were just jamming to Goes Down in the DMs because it was going down in Eric and Taylor's DMs, and we'll get to that later.
I
get it.
What's up, guys? I'm Nicholas Grava.
Wait a second.
Oh my God! I thought you were finished. Yo, let's get to me though.
Yeah,
right?
seriously. It's okay. It's okay. I still love you.
Nah.
You can find me on Snapchat, Twitter, Periscope, Instagram.
Wait, let me go.
And Erica Renee D.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay, what's up, guys? I'm Nicholas Grava. Follow me at Nicholas Grava, Twitter and Instagram.
Are you finished?
Yeah.
And our newbie, our new boy.
What's up, everybody? I'm just filling in for tonight, but my name is Joshua Johnson. Find me and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JJ the Talented. And let's keep the conversation going.
And you guys can follow me at Johnny Mings on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure to tweet at us all night and all week long. Oh, actually for the rest of time. Just always tweet at us.
Yeah.
Hashtag ABTV American Crime. That way we can see your questions and comments on our episode tonight. All right, we have so much to talk about, so I want to dive right into things. Let's start off by talking about the beginning of the episode where we have Taylor and his mom, Anne, right? And
Yes.
they are unfortunately having to see some
Divulge into the details.
They're gonna have to get a lot closer than they are. They're gonna have to go to therapy, probably.
They are, but you know, I'm always
Nothing
calling.
wrong with therapy.
Nothing's
I
wrong with
love it.
therapy. No, not at all. I'm always calling out the parents on this season, last season too, for being bad parents. But I think this episode, this episode with Anne talking to Taylor, she really asked some very thorough questions. She went right to the point. She didn't really, dance around any questions. She asked them, were you having sex with this guy who was coming over in the 8th grade? Were you?
Right.
I appreciate her honesty.
I think she's a good parent.
Thank you.
Do you guys talk, or did you back in high school? Did you talk to your parents about sex?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I still haven't to this day.
No,
talked to my
I
parents
agree.
about sex. No.
My mom bought me a Costco-sized bulk thing of condoms.
No way.
Left them on my bed, and we never talked
And
about
that was it?
You never even acknowledge it, like.
Well, no, she wants to talk about it. I'm like, I'm sorry, I have friends who I talk to about sex.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to my parents about sex.
So to this day.
Yeah, and I wasn't having sex, so I was like throwing around with my friends at school. I left it. I nailed the box. This is true. I nailed the box to my door, my bedroom door, and like within a week they were all gone. Like all my housemates took them.
Oh, wait, housemates in college? Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay.
Oh yeah, like she packed them up as I was like leaving for college.
Wow.
that's irresponsible.
That is nice.
But you guys talk.
Oh yeah, I told you. I think I told you guys before. My parents, I think when I was 3 or 4, probably 4. My parents, my mom drew a penis on a piece of paper.
Wow.
And a vagina.
Right. This is the PP vagina.
Yeah.
And she was like, "This is a penis. This is a vagina. Sex is a beautiful thing between two people who are married. If anyone touches you at school, if anyone touches you at anywhere, it's wrong, and you let us know."
Right.
So my parents have always told us about sex. My sister, as a matter of fact, went to school in 1st grade drawing pictures of penises and got in trouble because she didn't understand it was quote unquote bad.
She didn't know.
But yeah, our parents have always told us about sex from as long as I can remember.
Interesting.
At that age, are you still like taking a bath with the male cousins or anything like that? 3 and 4, I'm trying to think.
What now? Say it again now.
Are you still taking a bath with the male cousins?
I mean, we never took baths with our male cousins.
Or
We used to do that. All of us, like they'd have we'd all be on vacation, in the tub together.
When you're younger, you just take
Everyone, we have home videos of us all in the bath together.
Right.
I think with us though, my parents were such old parents. So my sister and I are the youngest of the first cousins. So our oldest cousins, our next closest cousins were like 12 when we were born. So no, I wasn't taking a bath with 12-year-old.
That's a little aggressive. That's a nice.
I will say there's a reason I'm asking, and that reason is Eric is very comfortable telling the detective all the dirty deeds, and his parents are right behind him. I'm like, oh my god, if my mom heard me talking about sex like that.
But here's the thing,
we have an open relationship.
When I see that though, I almost see it as him being more defensive to the situation than necessarily open, because when we see him actually with his family, he's not really about to talk about anything. Like even with his brother, who you think they'd be pretty close with, he closes out with music and isn't about to have a serious conversation. So I think it's because it's like he's got to do this and answer these questions the right way, and he's aware of that.
Yeah,
I
think that's why he's talking that easy.
Yeah, the way he was like, "Oh, you curled up like a little bitch."
Yeah,
you know, I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
that's his favorite word. It's his go-to word.
Little bitch.
Regardless, I think we can get past this point and say, okay, we're having the parents and the kids. The parents and the kids are forced to really talk the dirty details, which is unfortunate, but it's necessary.
I like it. I don't think it's unfortunate.
Okay, so let's just say, regardless of how we feel about that, let's take the judgment away from it. The parents are getting very close to their children.
Yes.
They're getting the dirty details at the moment.
And that's how the episode started today.
Yeah.
And both Taylor and Eric's character had that moment with their parents, which I was like, for me, was uncomfortable.
No, me too. I mean,
you didn't flinch.
I didn't flinch. Now, granted, you know, when I did start having sex, well, I'm a virgin, but you know, but when I did start having sex, I didn't like tell my mom exactly what I was doing. Mom, I know you're watching. I didn't tell her, you know, I didn't give her like the play-by-play, but you know, she would talk to us about STDs, XYZ. But I'm sure if I was in a situation like Eric or Taylor, and my going to jail or being free depended on letting my mom know, yes, I said this in a text message. Heck yeah, I would say it.
Moving on to another Taylor moment from this episode, Evie asked Taylor what he did with the boy, right?
Yes.
And Taylor says he's not gay. Did I read that right? He said he's not gay.
No, he said, and then she sort of took it and she was like, are you asking me to do these things to be like a guy? Like, what did she say? Like, are you giving me drinks and telling me to like grind on you hard or something
you
like
want
that?
me to be the boy?
Yeah, that was it, yeah.
But I think that's a really interesting... Like, we may have a bisexual character on our hands, and I hope we do, because I hate when people think of sexuality as this black and white issue.
I mean...
We got some thoughts.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, we kind of already touched on this before. There's a double standard. Again, you can be a woman and, you know, have a relationship with another woman and then go be with a man, and that man doesn't judge you or that man doesn't consider you to be gay. But if you are a man who's had a sexual relationship with the man and then you go, you know, try to, you know, wife up a woman, then the woman's gonna be like, but you slept with this guy and that guy. So I'm not saying that is correct, but in this society, there is still a double standard. I think with a lot of women, we don't see bisexuality.
Right.
If you're trying to sleep with me and you've slept with a man, to me you're gay, and that's just the brutal, honest truth. That's how we think, and whether or not it's right or wrong is the truth.
Right, and I hope that that's why I secretly, or not so secretly, because I'm saying it
not secretly at all.
I do hope that he is bisexual in that way, because I think it would complicate the story for the better.
Yeah, for the story's benefit, it would definitely, you know, complicate it like you said, because if it's just straight up one way or the other, then it's, you know, it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Nick?
I forget, to be honest with you, but what I did want to say was that I think her line of questions, I saw that scene as being so real, so normal. It's like if this had happened to anyone in a situation, even with her, it just seemed like the way it was written, I feel like I was literally like a fly on the wall on that, like in a real life scenario. It didn't seem like a written scene to me.
I feel that way
most of the time. Yeah.
And I'm texting my mom a link to the video so she can watch right now, because Mom, we're talking about how you got me condoms when I was younger.
Aww, that's so sweet.
A lot of people think that's weird.
I don't think
that's weird either.
No.
She told me what sex was in the drive-through line at KFC.
Really?
When I was in 4th grade, right before I was about to start sex ed.
Nice.
Good.
Wow. I was like, okay, that was weird.
I think it's weird if a parent never acknowledges that this is a thing, that people have sex. I think that's weird, because it's like, at that point, it takes two people to openly have the thought that, okay, I'm not going to talk about it. Do you know what I mean? Because you know it happens, you know it's a thing. Even if it's your kid's not going to participate, I feel like if I was to just ignore the topic completely, I feel like that's more odd than like talking about it.
You disagree, Josh?
My parents have never talked about it, and actually I hope they don't. I mean, at this
At this
point, it's it's a little late in the game for them to come to me and talk about asking me if I've had sex or not. My mom I think my mom. I don't know. I feel like she thinks I'm a virgin still.
No. Yeah.
Only because I grew up super religious.
Well, let's make it right. Mom? Mom?
Well, she's not watching, so
I'm going to send her the link.
I grew up super religious, so like that was never something we talked about, and she just always assumed I would wait for marriage and that kind of thing. And so, yeah, it just never came up. And since I'm not married, she's probably still thinking like, oh, my son is still not deflowered.
Aaron Robinson, friend of the show, says, now I want chicken.
Oh.
Because I said the KFC.
I was like, wait a second.
Sex and chicken.
Is that a sexual innuendo? I don't get it, but okay.
Okay, so let's move on to Taylor in the bathroom. This small moment, fragment of a scene.
Now, did any of you guys catch this? Did any of you guys catch this when I think it was the episode before when he was sitting in the classroom and him and this kid Luke like exchanged a look?
Yeah, they did.
Because I thought, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, either this kid is gonna be the bully,
That's
and
what I thought.
It was just too intense of a look of like
I thought
nothing.
that was the bully. Yes.
So I didn't know how to
I thought he
read
was gonna
it.
rat him out because he went back to Marshall.
Yeah.
And I thought he was like gonna tell everybody because he knew somehow what had happened before then. He was like, okay, yeah, this guy came because he got raped and all that kind of thing.
They didn't hook up though, right?
Well, they
were about to, and then it went
there was a
black. Or I don't know if we
chemistry.
just missed.
Well, no, because I think later in the episode he got a friend request. So
Yeah,
he did get a friend
Facebook.
request.
In my mind, I take
missed
that
that.
as like
Yeah, when he was
they're
eating
still
alone
flirting
in his
with each other.
apartment.
Which when I saw that friend request, Facebook came out while I was in college, but like towards the end. And whenever I look at social media now, I think to myself, how would my life have been affected differently if I had had social media in high school? And just looking at that, I like to get a friend request from someone when you get home from school. You have all this drama going on. Like you can never leave the drama. When I was growing up, an '80s baby, you got your drama at school on the playground, and then you went home and you kind of just forgot about it. No. What happened? Because I had it. Facebook came out when I was a sophomore in high school. Oh my god!
And let me tell you what happened. We would get in fights on Facebook at night, and then you'd feel very uncomfortable the next morning when you were like walking into school with your backpack.
Does anybody have like instant messaging?
We had AIM. Were not. I wasn't on because when I was in high school, I think 92. I don't know. I graduated in 2010.
When were you?
92.
91.
And yeah, okay. So you
leave.
needed a college email address to log into Facebook.
Yes, you're
so
right.
I couldn't get in,
right.
so we used AIM. And I remember specific times when something drama would happen in school, and everyone would go home to AIM and talk about it and fuel it and change it, and the story would change.
Yeah.
And it was a whole nother
You
thing.
had multiple screens open.
Yeah, and my away message was like, ooh, you know who you are, whatever. And in my profile, I'm putting initials.
See, that's not good to see.
Yeah,
So this is
up.
interesting because you and I both were in college when Facebook came out. So I wasn't a 15-year. I didn't have to deal with that. I couldn't imagine. Those are some obstacles that.
Imagine nowadays though they have everything.
They have everything.
And I will say this: the writers of this show must have talked to some high school students when writing this show.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's very the words they
the lingo they
use. Right. Last week's episode, I think someone said "cray," and I was like, that's dumb because people don't use that in high school. I mean,
some of that texting shorthand I have never heard of.
Something like
quick to come.
Quick to come.
I was like, what?
And also
what was the other one?
I don't know,
hit me. No, call me. Can you call me? It was something like when he was like he left the part and he was like want to chat or something. W2C
was it WTC
or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, am I out of this or like what?
Yeah, all I know is WID.
What are you doing? Okay, right.
I want.
Well, your dick. Oh,
I didn't know that.
I thought it meant, what are you doing?
Yeah,
I think it's WID. That's why I was like, oh, I never heard that.
No.
Anyway, sorry, folks at home.
No, that's
and then
a
at the
learning
end
lesson.
of the episode, I'm gonna be like, sorry, we didn't get to everything. Okay, so then Luke friend requests Taylor. I want something happy to happen to Taylor. I feel bad for this boy.
Well,
but
how did he know?
How did he know what? The guy, the bully? The
bully guy. How did he have the boldness to walk up to him like that and kind of know?
Oh.
I will suggest something. Mm-hmm. When you are a closet case in high school, as some of us were, I'll speak for myself. I think there is an unspoken language.
Oh, I thought he had heard the rumors or read an article from the other school.
Or that, yeah.
I mean, definitely I think that's at play, but still, to come up to someone that forcefully.
That's why I thought he was going to punch. I'm like, this is a bully thing right now.
I thought he was too.
Me too.
But no.
Yeah.
No, sir.
And I want to say this about Taylor before we move on from Taylor. The last episode, he kept talking about, I don't want my mom to go through this. Like, people are dragging my mom's name through the mud. And I really thought that he was just projecting his own demons onto her. I didn't really think that was sincere. And in the middle of the episode, I thought, well, you know what? He really is concerned with his mom. And then the end of the episode, he says, when are you going to stop putting us through this? So I'm kind of feeling like, even though Taylor is going through his own drama, he's being a little bit of a brat. I mean, granted, he is a teenager who perhaps was a part of a sexual assault. I get that. You have your own shit that you're dealing with. But I think he's, I didn't like how he treated his mom at the end.
I thought it was genuine when he said, when even his reaction, and we can touch upon it more deep later, when they said basically there's no charges, nothing's happening. I saw relief, but not because I didn't see like he was happy or anything. I saw that he was almost relieved that the situation with his mom would be over. So I do think
the same way
that he cares. I think he was a kid that was really confused about what happened, because he knows he talked to this kid, but then he knows he didn't really want it. He didn't say yes. We've heard that, and the next thing you know, he's talking with his mom, and he's being real in the moment afterwards, and he never expected to be blown up to what it is now. Because at first I'm like, Taylor, how dare you? You wanted it, and now you're gonna say that. And then I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. He didn't ask for it all to be blown up like this just yet. He didn't have time to figure out his own thoughts before his mom started like making it a thing.
I get it.
I agree.
Sense.
I'm on board with you. And I think that Taylor probably is lying about something.
Yeah.
And I think that it's okay to lie to your mom.
Absolutely.
But he didn't go to the press. His mom went to the press.
Everybody
completely
agree. There's more that he's not saying? Or?
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying I think this is probably a complicated situation. And I think had he known by telling his mom this was going to escalate to where it went, he would have been honest from the get-go.
I think
I think he's dug his own grave a little bit.
I think he's very like empathetic to his mom's situation. Because although at the end, I get what you're saying at the end where he's like, "Are you done dragging us through this?" But remember, before that, several times he had said, he was concerned for his mom.
He did say
to the
that.
Psychologist, and I think the detective, like he was concerned about what this would do to his mom. So I think I tend to believe that he's sympathetic to her case and her situation. So I think for the most part, he doesn't really care as much what happens to him, but more so.
See, I disagree.
Can we touch quick on Anne before? So there was conversation about how she had left him before, I'm a little confused on that. I understand that's why he's scared now, because he doesn't want something to happen. But what happened before? Why did she leave, or did we get any of that?
She couldn't afford him.
Okay, I didn't know if it was. I thought maybe there was a drug problem too.
A review I read about this episode mentioned that it was some mental illness.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, again, that's very unclear to me.
And I'm like, did I miss something, or is it okay? So maybe we're just gonna get more of that later.
Erica, Leslie Tat says he is frustrated. Gosh, Erica, he could be worse. Talking about Taylor.
Leslie, listen, I have no tolerance when it comes to bratty kids. But no,
you bring the chat up.
I get it.
Aaron says I was super team Taylor before this episode,
Thank
but now
you. Thank you.
I don't know. I mean,
I almost feel more empathetic to Taylor.
I agree, because when I think of the stupid things I did in high school, thank God they weren't published in the newspaper. I did not. No, listen. I did not ever assault somebody. But you know what? I can think back on things I said that now I would, John in 2016 would never say.
Same here.
And if anybody were to go publish those things, I would be very embarrassed. You ever see on your Facebook, like time dash, 5 years ago today,
and I read
the things you said?
Baffling that they ever came out of my mouth.
I know.
I also thought I was a player, but baffling that happened
Well,
either.
you are a player.
Well, I know.
Some things never change.
It's crazy to me, and I completely agree with the difference of then to now, because when I, even just the thing, I don't know. The fact that when the lying to his mother is complete. When I'm telling a story to my parents, sometimes immediately when I was younger, I wouldn't give them all the right. And I think that's what you were saying is like, then the mom runs with those facts, and now he looks like
that's facts.
Yeah, exactly.
We got to move on because Taylor and Anne, we love them, but we talk about them a lot every episode. I want to make sure I get to other people. Kevin, Michael, and Terry, not so present in this episode.
No.
But some interesting stuff happened. They're trying to get a definitive answer, about whether or not the charges are dropped. And the lawyer couldn't give them an answer because there isn't an answer yet, right? And that just reflects Terry's immediate, I want things to be resolved this second, which I appreciate.
And her priorities. She does not give a mother about the case or the kid or anything. She cares about number one.
You did an American Crime bleep.
Oh, I blacked out
yeah.
real quick. Yeah.
I like what her husband says, Michael, when she leaves the scene, and then the investigator, was that the investigator or the lawyer?
I think it was the investigator. I don't know, actually.
She's like saying to him, like, your wife is kind of, she's taking it hard, but he's like, well, my wife is a bit much. She's fierce, but, please do not mistake me for being the reasonable one. Like, you're not going to come to me and be like, oh, go talk to your wife. I'm just as upset about this. I just like how he said that.
And then I want to say this, and I might relate to Terry and Michael because they are the black family, in the story, or it might just be because I feel like that's how my parents raised and tried to set me and my sister up for success. But I think under the circumstances, they are doing the best job that they can do. Now, should they be prying Kevin for more information? Yeah, but you can't make Kevin tell you. You can't make him tell you. I mean, because I feel like Terry has asked, and I think Michael has, choked and said, "Did you touch that boy?" And they probably could be doing more things differently and better. But I think Terry and Michael are in this situation the model parents.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think that they're doing something. It's tough because I think you're right, but I also think they have the lowest stakes in the show.
Ooh.
Because the other two parents have children who are involved in a rape.
But their son's name is being attached to it, I think, at the moment, and that's what I think they're concerned about.
Regardless, it's, as far as we know, Kevin has nothing to do with the sexual assault.
Well, as far as has been revealed,
right.
There's something there that I feel like Kevin is holding back. There's something else that happened, in my opinion, that hasn't been revealed to us yet.
Look at when he's talking to his whole team, and the whole team
says,
we won't say anything.
Yeah.
Well, what else is there to say?
Right.
Because to our knowledge, everything's out on the table. Besides, you had the party. We all know that. So what else are they all hiding as a team too, which we know will come out? Ain't 10 people gonna, everyone's looking out for number one.
I want to know your feelings on this moment when Michael says to Terry, we're going to go out and we're going to look normal. That's the best way to clear our son's name.
I like that.
Because they go to the gala.
I think it's realistic. I like it too. I think it's true.
Yeah.
If you hide, you're obviously saying like we've got something to hide.
Yeah.
It goes with Leslie's way of fixing things.
It does. It does.
Portray what you want them to see and say.
But I don't know that's fair because Leslie actually has asked for there to be a cover-up, and we'll talk about that later. Whereas I think Terry and Michael do not have that kind of blood on their hands. And
can I backtrack just a little bit? You said that they have the lowest stakes. Josh, I saw you kind of look. Not only was Kevin a captain, but he's a black man in America who's 18 years old who can be charged with a major crime.
Right.
So maybe he wasn't directly involved in the assault, but because he is the adult, he's the only 18-year-old that has been presented to us, and he's a black man in America.
And he's a promising basketball player.
And he's an athlete. Right. I think his stakes are as high as everyone else's, but just in a different realm.
Okay, so let me clarify then. I don't know that I agree with what I said earlier, that they have the lowest stakes. What I'm saying is from what has been revealed to us, I guess, and maybe this is just my perception, he did not play a part in the actual rape or sexual act.
Yeah.
But you're right. You make a very good point. The two white families, in many regards, have it easier just because they're white, and you know how it is. You know how the law works for white people in ways that it doesn't for people of color. So you're right, and thank you for saying that because I am changing my mind.
Okay, just don't do it again, John.
We all learn. What else did we want to talk about? Oh, okay. So they go out to the gala, or what are we calling this event?
The show,
the fundraiser. The event, yeah.
And they, go out, they get dressed up, and things seem to be pretty normal, right? Like as normal as things can be. Earlier in the episode, though, when they think their son's name has been cleared, there's this moment between Terry and Kevin, right, where they're crying into each other. Any thoughts on that, or just?
It was sweet. It was genuine. It was authentic. It was, a mom and a son, I guess, breathing, like you said, a sigh of relief, like, okay, it's over, kinda, not really over, it's kinda over, I'm here for you, I'm gonna protect you, I'm gonna be your mama bear. And it was I just thought it was a very sincere, real moment between mother and son.
I do want to talk about Coach Dan, his wife, and Becca, the daughter.
What the okay, listen.
Potheads.
Listen, yeah, dude, you on the candy? It's like, I'm sorry, what?
What candy?
I'm still so confused. This guy, Dan's gotta have, I think, a really fucked up storyline.
Okay, now we're not bleeping.
Sorry, I'm done bleeping because Dan aggravates me. Look, I spent so much time watching his scene, and it's like, why? I just don't understand. Like, are you getting divorced? Do you love each other? Are you hooking up? Are you not? Are you high? Are you weird? Are you not? I don't get it yet. And that frustrates me. Like, I get everything else in the show. I don't understand the significance to them in this scenario. Like, she wants him to quit. Listen, he was the coach. Like, unless he's getting funky at that party with these kids, then I don't know what the point is.
I'm gonna interject.
Go ahead.
I respect what his wife said because she knows that Leslie is up to no good. Leslie is out of her mind. If she asked Steph to ask Dan to ask his players
To lie.
to lie,
Yeah.
that is so malicious because what she's doing, she's not sending it in an email directly to Dan. Right? Like
cleaning.
her hands are clean.
Yeah.
Well, wait,
She knows
did you
what she's
see
doing, definitely.
Yeah.
the hands are clean thing? She quite literally in this episode after
She
the meeting,
washed
she
her
scrubbed
hands.
her
That's
hands
right.
clean.
Don't think that one passed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
see
what?
that. Wow.
And then I read it in a review too,
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
really how I found out about it. But and I was like, what? Second
So,
time.
as Dan's wife, I think I would say, whoa, you work for a sociopath.
Yeah. Maybe they're going to be the ones to turn and go on Anne's side and help them take down Leslie or this whole school. They're going to be the ones from the inside.
So do you think
Prediction.
she's really protecting her husband and the family by suggesting let's get out of here?
That's a
let's
weak
go
way to protect someone. They'll walk away. No, how about you try and fight for the situation that you guys are in and deal with it?
Okay, so I want to play devil's advocate. I understand why she would say you need to quit because when a school, why do you laugh?
I should know. I'm
Because
excited.
I'm getting so excited. Because when a school like Leland has
yeah.
the kind of people, the donors, the money, the boosters behind it. When you're the low man on the totem pole, he's a coach. Like, let's just be honest, he's a coach. When the big scheme of things, he's not donating or contributing, financial backings to the school. I mean, he has a good team, but a coach can come a dime a dozen, whatever. So I understand why she would suggest to quit because we're up against the politics of money. But then I do understand at the same time why you want to stay and be valiant and try to make things right. But you're on Molly or whatever she's on.
Candy.
She's on her candy. And then Dan, as she pointed out, as sociopath, as crazy as she is, she pointed out you don't have hard conversations. So maybe they are not the two people equipped to take the school down because she's
Fair
a
enough.
drug addict and he can't even make complete sentences.
Jack Eden says, Steph is the only one calling Leslie out on her BS, and I don't think Leslie will let her go on for too long.
Lesley does not seem like the
point.
Once you
Leslie's
pop up
gonna kill
on
her.
your radar, yeah, Leslie's taking her out.
Oh, wow. We have some predictions here.
Oh, all right.
Come at us.
Let's see here. Price Right says, Coach raped or drugged Taylor.
I'm telling you, something's fishy with the coach.
Something is fish with the coach, but I wouldn't go that far though.
That never crossed my mind.
Can I ask you something? So I have this theory just from watching this.
Yeah.
Do you remember, I think it was one episode ago,
Sure.
when Taylor's mom went to visit a friend, and on the farm or something like
Yeah.
that. I don't know what the relationship was, but
Right.
the friend suggested let's go out, for a weekend or whatever, take your mind off things. And there was the guy that was supposed to look after
Yes.
Taylor.
Yeah.
I feel like, although Taylor in this episode, he said that his first encounter was with the kid when he was 8 or in 8th grade or something like that. But I feel like there's something in that relationship with that one guy that maybe he was molested by
agree.
him.
I agree.
You do.
Yeah,
You
and,
all-
and
wow,
not
I didn't-
only do I agree with you, but somebody wrote a theory about this.
And in our
Really?
YouTube comments, so Josh, whoever wrote that in our YouTube comments, Josh had no idea because this is his first show. So you're saying the exact same thing that someone said in our YouTube comments last week. So
Okay.
you guys, whoever that was, and Josh are on the exact same page.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, I agree with that theory, Josh. I do.
Yeah.
Let's see. I got pedophile vibes within the first 15 minutes of episode 1. I think they're talking about Dan.
Yeah, when he was
Dan
he
has
was
no
recording
conviction.
his daughter.
I didn't know that was his daughter when that happened.
Yeah, me neither.
nobody did
No,
that
we were
part,
all
right?
like,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
You freaky coach.
I thought he was gonna go home and use it for
What
a
about
spank bank.
his sister-in-law? So his sister-in-law gets a number from someone, and she feels this guilt, and then what's her
Yeah.
name? Sarah.
Steph or
Stephanie, Kate?
no, Steph is the aunt Leach. I don't know what her name is.
Yeah. So, are we talking about the aunt or
The
Steph?
aunt. What's the
The
aunt's
aunt.
name?
I don't know.
Oh, Sarah. You said Sarah.
Sarah?
That
I don't know.
sounds right.
That's what you wrote.
Sarah asked Coach to leave the school.
I don't know, but
I meant Steph.
But about the aunt, the aunt and Becca. I think.
Oh yeah, Aunt Sarah.
Right.
Yep.
So
Sarah.
I'm just gonna just step out on a limb and say that moment was just a teaching moment for us to understand that even though Steph is a crackhead, that she still has some moral compass. You know,
Okay.
that's
I'm
what I.
sure she's a crackhead.
Well,
She's some kind of
she's something. You know.
He's that candy head.
Candy head. And nothing against crackheads or cokeheads. You know, do what you do for
we love you
recreation.
if you're viewers of the show.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
if you're
that is so
listening at
sweet.
home.
I mean, really.
There's no
thank
judgment,
you.
but I just think that that's a dynamic that we're seeing, that she can take that moment and teach her daughter. Because she says to Dan, Becca doesn't know about
Yeah.
love. She doesn't know about commitment. And he's like, she's 17. So she uses that to say, well, she doesn't know about this, that, and the other. And look at the example we're setting by staying in this corrupt school. That's all.
Right.
That was a good moment.
Right, and also that moment that we touched on where the daughter and the mom, right, where Steph and Becca are talking and her mom says, you're just young, you don't understand. Guilt does not come from doing something, it comes from having emotion. Which, like, maybe one of the most level-headed lines of this season, and I think it sort of reflects what's going on in everybody's life. Let's go to, is there more to talk about with the coach?
He's just weird.
Yeah, he's
and
weird.
Oh, he gets in a
There's
big fight
something
with
else
his
there.
wife, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
But we sort of mentioned that in the whole her asking him to leave. Anything specifically about the fight that is of note that we should discuss?
I don't think so.
All right, well, let us know. We're looking at the chat roll tonight, so let us know. I do want to jump now then to Dixon.
Yeah.
That's his name.
Dixon,
There's that one scene he had tonight where...
just the one.
And by the way, I want to know, you at home, because I maybe have said something in poor taste. I used the term Hispanic last week or 2 weeks ago, and I have been told that maybe that is not the correct term to use, that it might be Latino.
See,
Oh, is that
see,
outdated now?
no, and
Is that like saying
and I'm
Korean?
gonna go right behind you and be probably just as ignorant. But I have friends who've explained to me that Latino refers to, of course, Latin America, South America, like with the exception of, like, for example, Belize. Belize is Portuguese, so you wouldn't particularly consider them.
No, Belize is.
Or I mean,
you mean Brazil?
no,
right?
no, Belize.
Belize is Caribbean.
Yes, Caribbean, yeah. And then you have, is it Guyana? So like there's certain places in South America that have people who wouldn't particularly be considered Latino. And then you have Hispanics who are not from Spain. Am I saying this right? I don't know if I'm.
No, I would think Hispanics are from Spain. Hispaniola.
I thought
Right.
Spanish people from Spain are Spanish, and then Hispanic, it described people of Latin of South America. Y'all, please, and
I thought it was all.
Yeah,
I literally,
That's my.
I just
Let us- yeah, just
but
let
let us
us
know.
know.
I
We're not-
really don't know.
Right.
I'm the last person to be saying anything ignorant because I'm black, but I really do. I don't know.
Regardless, there is some tension between the black students and the Latino/Hispanic
Yeah.
students. And not Elvis, I mean, that's his name.
Dixon.
Yeah.
But Dixon, he says there were no black boys involved. There was one black boy involved in this fight. Like, it seems to me like he thinks these students are making it a race issue when maybe it isn't a race issue.
That's how I saw it when they kept bringing to him and using, very descriptive terms, but not terms that would just say, like, okay, there was one kid against three kids. Like, that's the fact of the matter of it. I don't know what the the underlining tensions from, but I do definitely think, this is probably something he deals with almost every
day,
single
yeah.
day in this school.
Yeah.
With such an eclectic group of people, I'm sure this is not something that, and I think trying to defuse it is probably the best thing he could do.
Last week I said something about Dixon being Latino, and Kirk said he called him Hispanic. Didn't he? I think Kirk corrected me
He's black
and
and
said,
Hispanic,
and
right?
that's what I said too. And I said, so considering he is of Spanish descent or of Latin descent, but has black skin, he's straddling the fence. He's not straddling the fence, but he probably understands the plights of both the black students, as in black American students, as well as the plights of, what are they saying?
Jerome says Hispanic is of Spanish descent, Latino is Latin American.
Okay.
So keep
That's easy
tweeting.
enough.
Let us
letting
know.
us know.
So my only point about Dixon is that he's a black man of Latin descent, so he has a lot of Latino students in his school. He has a lot of black students in his school, and then he's both. So
To be honest, it's almost the perfect person to
I
have
think
to
so.
deal with a situation like this, because you're right, he is on the fence. He can basically
But
empathize
it's his
with
character both.
honestly, I know you guys are gonna hate me, but I'm over Dixon's storyline. I'm sorry.
No,
Really?
You say it's his character.
I think unless is his character
That's
both
how I feel about Dan right now.
Hispanic and black.
I think so.
Okay.
To me, it seems that way because
I think so,
he
too.
spoke Spanish too.
Right. But
The
I don't know
girl.
if that's
Yeah.
because he teaches at the school or whatever.
But he has that syncopated voice that reminds me of Spanish speaking people.
Now, I will say this. I understand what you mean. You're over it, but I think I'm over it too, but only because I don't think it's developing. I think it's
agree.
flatlining.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see where it goes. It's really interesting because I thought at the end of last week's episode, like, how is this initial storyline going to continue for another 6 episodes? So I think maybe these subplots,
Are gonna
especially
pop
the
up.
coach and his life, like that's already coming up and popping up and developing more.
That's why I think this is such. That's what I honestly think separates this drama from a lot of dramas on TV. A lot of dramas will take one plot line, hello, revenge, and they will go and draw it out so long. And this one, it's like we get an answer, and then there's something else that we didn't even notice we were doing. Like you said, that quick scene when Anne is at her friend's house, like that's gonna pop up and you'll be like,
Yeah.
holy shit, totally forgot, but amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
Not amazing depending on what the scene is, but you know.
I do want to talk about one thing I missed with Anne, and this is a huge thing. I didn't miss. I wanted to talk about it later because it capped off the end of the episode, and that is the guy who comes into her diner and says, "I need to talk to you."
Oh yeah.
That was fascinating.
Yeah.
She had just not promised, but made it seem like she was going to drop it, right? Her son asked, and she sort of didn't respond.
Yeah.
And we thought, well, maybe she'll accept what her son wants. No, it looks like she has more motivation than ever because this guy whose daughter had gone to Leland years before said, don't do what we did. Don't give up. Leland is messed up and you need to fight them on it. Don't let them silence you.
I think that was good coaching. But again, they took the. I mean,
How was she going to do that anyway? She
Yeah.
can't afford to. I thought the guy was going to offer her some money, like some financial backing.
I
like,
did
give
too.
her
I
some money
thought
to
he
do
was
it.
going to give her some kind of token.
Yeah,
But a lot
like,
can
That
be
was a
done-
token,
lot can be
though.
That is
legally.
not
He
a
just said keep
token.
on fighting. But what
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
They're
now?
just saying they're wrong for sure. It's like we know they're wrong. She knows they're wrong, but at this point she's hitting a wall. So unless you can
And
show
I
them how to
agree.
get that wall
Hey,
down.
lawyer or
I agree.
something.
Legally, money talks. I get that.
Yeah.
Legally, it talks a lot. But anybody can go to the press, regardless of the press. The press is biased towards people of
Yeah, but
wealth.
she went
Yeah.
to the press. What about when the lady went and wrote?
And look what happened.
What happened?
A lot.
No, the principal talked her out of that, the reporter out of that real easily.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so what, I don't understand how James, unless he's gonna, I think she's still at this point. What he gave her information that is gonna let her do what at this point?
But you know how like you scroll your Facebook and your Twitter and for like Monday motivation, every week, you get that little nugget, that little quote, the quote of the day, QOTD.
Right.
Just start somewhere,
Yeah,
start anywhere. Ooh, I love that.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
right?
No, I do.
I wasn't feeling that scene. That
So
last
maybe-
scene.
What?
No, I
Oh.
wasn't. I was just like, well, give her some money. I was just hung up on the whole like help her out.
I think
Because
it's
all he said
gonna
was,
be
like, keep on going.
whether we agree, because I'm on the line. It's gonna propel her. She's gonna go after the school. I think that's my biggest prediction. Is that definitely that's where the storyline is going to go.
Oh, Johnny.
Yeah.
May I say this, please? I think that Eric and Taylor's stories are identical, essentially. Like neither of them. I know this. I'm going way back now, but like they both essentially told the same story. And a couple of weeks ago, someone in the YouTube comments called me a rape apologist, and here now we're
What's
seeing
a rape apologist?
because I made a comment about, it's a long story, but
Okay.
basically I made a comment citing instances in which women lied on men and said that could give other women who were actually raped.
Oh, I remember
pause.
we had- yeah.
And someone was like, you're being irresponsible. I'm like, dude, I'm just stating the facts.
I don't read the comments.
Well, and also, I think what that guy had wrong is that we didn't know that. I mean,
We didn't know.
Yes. The victim asked his mother not to speak up.
Yeah.
So I don't think you're being a rape apologist.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But the point I'm saying is that Taylor and Eric's stories, I think, are essentially identical. Now it's just up to us to figure out who we think is lying. But I think, what? Go
I was gonna say I think I completely agree. They're identical. I think it's gonna come down to who drugged. Because I don't know if he did drug Taylor.
Yeah, we
I
don't
don't
know.
see that yet, and I do agree their story's the same. It's down to who actually did drug him then, which seems to be the one messing up the entire situation.
On that drugging note,
Yeah.
Yeah.
do you guys see this as a rape?
Yes.
Because although leading up to it, they both were willing.
Yes.
But then one participant was drugged, quote unquote, and then couldn't really give consent. That would be rape.
That
right?
would be rape.
Absolutely.
So I will say this. I hope, given all the circumstances, I hope it was a rape. Because if it's not a rape, I think this show will show a bad example of how high schoolers are about sex, right? So, like, what I'm trying to say is I do not want ABC to broadcast a
platform
show
this big, yeah.
where they're saying, you can't believe people who say they were raped, because that would be bad, I think.
Yeah.
But I believe there was somewhere there has been some sexual misconduct, whether it was Taylor and Eric or whether it was Taylor and somebody from his past.
Can I ask you this? Okay, so does the sexual misconduct with Eric and Taylor lie in the fact that maybe Taylor was drugged, or does it lie in the fact that it was aggressive?
Well, and Eric's saying that, I don't know.
Okay.
But Eric is saying he wanted it, and as soon as he realized I had no interest in him, he called rape. He cried rape.
I think it's so hard. I mean, I'm not going to comment at this point because I just don't. I do 100% think it was rape. I think it will be rape. I just don't know. Like you said, the sexual misconduct. I don't know where that.
I think it's in the drugging. It's in
okay.
the drugging
Okay.
because leading up to it, Taylor did describe him wanting it rough, didn't he?
Yeah.
And liking
There
that,
was.
like, putting the
He
pillow
did
over my
describe.
head.
Yes. But then it just
But
comes
that-
down to also, even if he says all of that, if there's no consent at that point in time, or even in the middle of the point in time, then that's when it turns
That's
to
when it
rape.
turns into
That's
rape.
right.
Yeah.
We do have to talk about the interpretive dance.
Yes.
beautiful.
About that. Jerome says, I think that interpretive dance was symbolic for the whole series, with the male dancers being symbolic of the outside sources that took Taylor away from his normal life. Erin, I know Erin had a comment, and I am going to try to look for that, Erin, because she wanted to make sure I saw it.
While you're looking for that,
Yeah,
I think there was two main, when we break it down, so like we have the actual performance and then we have the audience and the key characters that we pan across and see their reactions to it and also them doing it. You know, the performance is obviously paralleling what we're seeing in the story and in everything that's happening. There was a lot that happened. Like, I was watching it and I'm like, okay, is that, you know, I'm trying to like almost put pieces together and I'm watching in that way. What stood out to you the most during that performance? There are interesting pieces of it that you were like, okay, I think that is...
I just thought of something.
Go
you know,
ahead.
in the very beginning of the dance,
Yep.
it was between the guy and the girl.
Yeah.
Right? But the girl seems a bit young.
Yeah.
Does that have something to do with... I just thought of this. Maybe not. But some kind of sexual misconduct in Taylor's past as a young person.
Oh, maybe he molested someone too, or no? Or is that what you're saying?
I was thinking he was the...
He was a okay.
Yeah,
he was
he
the
was
young
the,
person.
He was the girl.
I like the end
okay.
of the dance where the man is alone.
Yeah.
Sort of like gripping himself.
And that to me, because obviously that was the black guy, I was like, oh, is that Kevin? I was like, is that Kevin's character getting left out to dry? Is he-
Interesting. I didn't think
Oh,
that.
I didn't think that
Yeah.
either. I thought, so when everyone was dancing together, there was a point where I'm like, okay, is this like the party type of thing where like everyone's together, everyone's meshing, there's two guys, two girls, one girl and a guy, and then next thing you know, suddenly like it's like two people and everyone else on one side. And I'm like, oh, is that like the division that we now see? Like everyone over here watching the situation that's unfolding with Taylor, and then I thought Taylor was the lonely one that just like...
Ooh.
But I don't know.
But
I
no,
mean-
that's smart, because if that is representative of the division,
Right.
those two people could be maybe that
And
could
then
be
they pull
maybe that could
away
be
from
Kevin
each
and Eric,
other.
yeah,
Yeah.
because Kevin and Eric are really the only two people that we've seen who really know what happened. Because Evie was in the car, and then Kevin's little girlfriend was wherever she was. So, and because they're co-captains.
Bathroom floor.
On the bathroom floor. Was she on the bathroom floor?
Kevin's girlfriend?
Oh, that's right. They did say that. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, and the beginning of that
Yeah.
dance, I think that the girl who was kind of watching the first two dancers, that reminded me of Leslie. I don't know if that was how I was supposed to interpret it, but she was kind of overseeing the dance the same way she actually was overseeing the dance in a few episodes ago when she was like getting all hot and bothered watching. The same dancer was kind of like observing.
What about that part though where they had the person? What didn't they
Lift
have
him
someone
up.
lifted
Yeah,
up?
yeah,
Or
yeah.
like laying down on while lifted up. Was that symbolic somehow of death?
Ooh.
I think the other, and this is my last thing on the dance, is that it's almost interesting how we all can take away different perspectives from the same dance, almost how everyone else is pulling away different perspectives from the same event. And it's like, we don't know that we're doing it, but we're just pulling that.
Aaron says, I think the dance recital was a representation of the facade of Leland, hiding behind the beauty, but everything that's so ugly about the situation is right under the surface.
Wow.
Nice.
And they pan on everyone's face, not reacting to like the
Yeah.
actual craziness that's happening up there.
But that's what I took out of the dance, is not actually the dancers, is that shot where they pan past everybody, all the adults who are involved in, the drama. And I was like, everyone's just chill. I don't know.
Except for Terry. She's the only woman they pan. She's like, she
Turned.
She
She's looking at her
turned.
husband, yeah.
So I don't know if that has any bearing or if that's any kind of foreshadowing for anything, but she was the only one who wasn't completely straightforward.
Her priority was her family, just like it is.
Okay.
Checking.
I got a question about Terry, though.
Yeah.
Not to change the subject. We
No,
can go
please.
back to it. But why is she so well connected? And what does she do?
Yeah.
Has that been answered?
I think
didn't miss
I
that,
just
did
see her as like a symbolic, like very wealthy, powerful person. I don't know if it's ever been established. I don't know. I missed it if it's been established exactly what she
Okay,
does.
so I didn't
But
miss
she is well connected.
Well connected. And why is she so mean, though? Like,
Oh, see.
Well, see, that's I'm interested in
See,
this.
because last week I told Kirk, and I said to him, I'll say to you, I don't think she's mean. I don't perceive Terry as mean. I perceive her as someone who is very intentional, and she knows what she wants.
that wasn't
and
cold?
What was cold?
The firing?
Oh, we talked about
See,
this.
Please, no, I'm
I
interested
thought
because
she
last
was really
week,
cold. And then she goes back then, at the next scene, I think she's talking with friends.
and that
Yeah,
was
at the
inappropriate.
table.
It almost seemed like she was talking about the previous. Was she talking about like black people and saying they were late all the time? Throwing us under the bus.
I did think that her conversation with those other families was inappropriate, but we never saw enough of that character that she fired to really know if she was justified in firing her. I mean, Josh, we're black, but if we're working together and you are, egregiously late all the time, whatever, like, you're gonna lose your job. I love you, you're my brother, but you're gonna lose your job. I thought that Terry messed up by talking about it so openly with other races.
Right.
That was, to me, her biggest flaw in the show. Other than that, I don't find Terry to be mean. I don't find her to be malicious. I think that she pushes her agenda, and her agenda is her family and taking care of her son.
I love the word what did you say? She was intentional with it.
Yeah.
I love that, because I think
I can
that's
see it that way.
I'm like, oh, she's cold, she's mean. Then no, she's just very okay with being intentional with every action, which we see.
It's gotten her to the top.
yeah, but
evidently.
it's tough to me. I hesitate to even comment on this because I am a white male, so I never have to, like, up front when I meet people, I already have this stupid, awful, racist advantage. So it's hard for me to say, well, Terry's such a bitch, because Terry has had to fight a different fight than I had to
true.
fight, that even Anne has had to fight, which you mentioned earlier. So, but I agree. A lot of times I think she is cold, but I'm scared to say that, especially...
Don't be scared.
But you know what I mean? Because I don't...
Erica's sitting next to you.
I know. You better not say that.
Are you calling her an angry
Johnny.
black woman? Is that what you're saying?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Don't be scared.
I
Don't be
don't
scared.
want to. No, it's not because of you. It's because I don't want to say something that I'll later regret. Like earlier in the episode when I said she has the least to lose, she has the lowest stakes. Like, you convinced me. Okay, maybe she does have high stakes.
I don't know, but I also think, and this is just so broad, I think you saying those things, or me saying, or anyone saying things, I think that's what's important, is to have that, and for us to have it, because we all know where our intent is, you know what I mean? So, like, to have that conversation that, everyone behind that camera and in the comments could be having, would be having, or should be having.
Or for sure.
Rosie Bloom says Terry is definitely elitist.
She is elitist.
Wait, hang on one second. Price Wright says Terry is racist. She strikes me as one of those people who hates that she's black and acts some sort of way to her own race. Thoughts on
that
that
goes off the
scene.
dinner
That was from
scene.
the
I think
dinner
that's
scene.
what they're pulling from.
The dinner scene, that was the dinner scene. If you're going to take that one scene, I get it, because that's what we're doing. We're breaking down the show. We're analyzing everyone's actions from scene to scene. I get that, but to me, her overall her actions are not consistent with hating black
But
people.
isn't that delicious? This is what
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah,
There's
not
one
a-
Terry, because I think Terry's cheating, to be honest with you.
What?
Yeah. Do
You got some predictions.
Predictions.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember in that? I think it was the very first episode. A couple scenes in where so Kevin and his girlfriend were in the car.
Yeah.
And the cop pulls up And just the way he said, "Say hi to your mom." Do you remember that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You don't think?
I thought that was his way of
felt
being like, you and your mom are connected, and you have some sort of privilege
I
because
thought,
of
like,
her
We're gonna
wealthy
have to take
status.
this out to the
Mom.
playground and fight it out ourselves. For now, we have to unfortunately wrap up the recap and go to our predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, who has a prediction?
Dan, we're gonna see some crazy stuff with him. I think
What?
I think we're gonna see negative stuff. I think he is involved in a very bad negative way, and I think we're gonna see that. That's my
Himself involved, or he's covering something up?
I'm not sure. You know, that's a nice way to keep my prediction very open, and I'm gonna not decide either way.
You have any predictions, Josh?
There's more to Terry. There's more to Terry's
Oh, right,
character.
you made
And your
that
original prediction, I can get behind
And
too.
yeah, and the fact that I believe that there's something that Taylor experienced as a child, some molestation.
Erica Renee?
Based on the dance, I'm going to say that Kevin may have either witnessed the sexual assault or maybe he was a part of the drugging. I was giving him a clean bill of innocence up until today.
My prediction is between Taylor and Eric. I think, unfortunately, one of them is going to be a liar.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't think they can both exist as truth tellers in the same story. And I'm excited about that, and here's why. I like flawed gay characters on television. I don't want gay characters to only be victims. I want one of them to be a villain every once in a while.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you still want there to be a legitimate rape. So you're for.
Sorry, say that again?
At the same time, you're saying one of them has to be a liar, but the fact you said you want it to be, I mean, you, for the sake of television, you want it to be a legitimate rape. You're siding with Taylor, no?
Yes.
Okay.
I think you're right about that.
Okay.
I think I want Taylor. It's tough. If Taylor had gone to the press, I would have felt more strongly that way. But because his mom did, now it's like, I think, well, I don't know. It's difficult. There's so much more.
I get both of your. Yes, I can. Yeah. I can see
All right,
that.
you guys. We will continue the conversation on Twitter. We will continue the conversation on the page, on the YouTube channel. Please subscribe to AfterBuzz. Watch us every week, and hashtag ABTV American Crime on Instagram and Twitter so we can stay connected with you guys. Before we officially say goodbye, I want everyone to have one last chance to tell us where you can find you.
Thanks for having me, guys. I've had a lot of fun. My name is Joshua Johnson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JJ the Talented.
What's up, guys? At Nicholas Grava, Twitter and Instagram.
Erica Renee Davis on Periscope, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. Erica Renee D.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Jon Manganello, and you can find me at Johnny Mings on Twitter and Instagram. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.